On the 1st of July 1997, Hong Kong has been handed over to China by the British. This major event had many consequences, whether it is politically, economically, or even culturally. Now, there is a field which regroups those three problematics, the film industry. Politically, because the return of Hong Kong to China demanded from Hong Kong filmmakers a few adjustments, and sometimes much more. Economically, of course, because the movie business is in Hong Kong a real industry, an industry inevitably affected by economic fluctuations. And lastly, culturally, for obvious reasons. Together with a famous Hong Kong filmmaker, well known for its politically incorrect movies and for its outspokenness, Herman Yau Lai-To, we will try to understand how Hong Kong cinema, this unique characteristic in the peninsula, has gone through the process still in progress of Hong Kong handover to China. Around year 1997, like a large part of the population who preferred to emigrate, some of the Hong Kong cinema stars, actors, directors, and even martial arts choreographers left Hong Kong to shoot movies in Hollywood. Jackie Chan, Jet Li, Sammo Hung, Chow Yun-fat, John Woo, Tsui Hark, Wong Kar-wai, Yuen Woo-ping, and many others. All of them, briefly or on long term, exclusively or not, have made for the United States, leaving Hong Kong industry in a real no-stars land. Herman Yau tells us why, contrary to appearances, those leavings were most likely motivated by a change of perceptions more than by the handover itself.
You know, for some years ago, most of filmmakers, they in the mainland or also in Hong Kong, they will take the Cannes Film Festival, the Berlin and the Venice as kind of reputation. But now it's moving to the Oscar. And a long time ago, we saw the Oscar as kind of commercial platform for the platform of the cinema. But Berlin, Cannes, and Venice is more like more artistic. So we can see that there's a change of idea, or change of perception, or change of goal. The goal of the film people. Now they want to achieve something that that can conquer the world in the sense of or under the understanding of what we call globalization, something like that.
This proper movie stars exodus could have been a serious blow to the film industry in Hong Kong, and indeed, the few years around the handover were tremendously calm in terms of production. However, Herman Yau explains now that this calmness may also have been born somewhere else.
Slow down, but this may not be due to the handover, because actually the decline of Hong Kong film industry began in the late 80s. Something like 1989 or something, and then when we step into the 1990s, actually the film industry has been undergoing kind of difficulties and hardship, no matter in production wise or distribution wise, and especially after the 1997. I think not because of the handover, actually because the financial crisis in Asia and the traditional overseas markets like Singapore, Malaysia, Thailand, and since these countries have undergone the financial crisis, so they didn't have much money to buy films from Hong Kong.
Some even says that Taiwan was a big market for Hong Kong films before.
Yes.
And since it through the 90s crisis, since it went down, mainland China were almost the only one left to export the films.
It's quite dead in some years. That's after the 1996 and then up to the year 2000. Because in 1996, there's a meeting about literature, artwork, something like that. Many artists, they gather in Changsha, and there's a meeting held by Zhang Jianmin.
The conference about art and literature that was held in 1996 in Changsha was indeed an opportunity for Chinese authorities to pass on their message to Hong Kong producers and investors. It is during that year that the former president of China, Jiang Zemin, strongly encouraged film studios to produce, I quote, more war movies to pay tribute to revolutionary heroism and patriotism.
After the Changsha meeting, the Beijing government they want the film people to make at least 10 films of that kind each year. And so, since the main film films become the mainstream in the film market, and naturally most of the audience they won't like to watch those films. So the film industry during those four years is quite calm. And then about 1999, because of the success of Crouching Tiger, actually all over the world, because it had a very good box office in the US and in Hong Kong and mainland. And so there's another wave of so-called commercial film market began to develop again in mainland and then up to now.
As Herman Yau reminds us, the years 1999 and 2000 were marked by the release of the movie Crouching Tiger and Hidden Dragon. An epoch-making film really, because both on worldwide and local scales, there is surely a before and an after. Internationally, the orientalization of Hollywood action cinema, while already in march at that time, did nothing but accelerate. And locally, a new genre of film was born, a neo-wuxiapan hard to define, but omnipresent since then, the Hong Kong historical action blockbuster with martial arts. Or, to make it clearer, Hero, House of Flying Daggers, Curse of the Golden Flower, The Warlords, and many more. Films which were each time co-produced by Hong Kong and China, and carried on by casts and crews also from both Hong Kong and China. This rapprochement between both industries were symbolized by the CEPA, or CIPA. The CIPA, for Closer Economic Partnership Arrangement, signed in 2003, increased the economic connections, and that far beyond the film industry, between Hong Kong and mainland China. Herman Yau tells us now how precisely the censorship that was so feared in 1997 has finally taken an unexpected shape: economy.
We are quite aware that there will be kind of censorship. But actually, this didn't happen really. And actually, the so-called freedom at the beginning, the early years after the Handover, it seems unchanged. But for now, to me, I can sense kind of censorship, but not in the ordinary way, or a lot like the way that censorship was imposed to the citizens. Now everything has transformed into an economic way. For example, now we have a lot of joint production in the movie industry. So it seems Hong Kong films can go into the market of mainland easily. But in order to have the film screened in the mainland, the film has to go sent to the censorship board. So this, the execution of censorship is not like it's not the orthodox meaning of censorship now, or the method or the way the censorship is being as an instrument of governance. It's not like the way that we understood a long time ago. So at the very beginning of a project, if the producer aimed at the mainland market, they have kind of awareness about the censorship, like something very easy to understand. You cannot make those anti-communism movie. You can't make any ghost story. You can't make any films that can be considered a porno or something like that. But other than this, there's still some restrictions that to most of Hong Kong film people, it's not easy for us to understand. Like for some police story, so the image of the police must be very positive and very good in order to have the film distributed in the mainland. And of course, about different races, and race problem is also important issue in mainland. And also, of course, those films cannot talk about too much on politics. And the protagonist, we shouldn't take the gangster as the so-called hero in a story. Something
which was frequent in Hong Kong
yes,
before.
Yes,
it happened a lot.
Yes.
The future of Hong Kong cinema seems to be paradoxical, because if on one side its undeniable influence on Chinese action films may lead to think that movie stars and technical skills from Hong Kong have a future, it is much different concerning Hong Kong cinema itself, because Hong Kong struggles to tie again with its past glory since now many years. Therefore, the question, which is almost taboo but unavoidable, is even, will there still be Hong Kong films in the future?
Yeah. Yes. Because even some of the investors, at least once in a while, they want to make some films that will appeal to the Hong Kong audience taste. But in order to make this kind of so-called local films and not taking the mainland as market, we have to keep the budget low in order to secure the return of money of the investor. Both of the mainland film industry and the Hong Kong film industry have influence to each other. For example, since mainland film industry emphasizes on the market now, so they welcome so-called the commercial films. Of course, those films have to pass the censorship. And on the other hand, some of the Hong Kong film people, they try to understand the taste of the Chinese audience in order to have a good box office in the mainland. And actually, for the film industry all over the world, I think it's not easy. Even like the Hollywood movies, many of the big production, they can't earn any money. Because for some big production, we can have a huge amount of the box office. But we have to remember that those huge mega production, they have a very high budget. And in order to have return, actually it's not easy. Now in the mainland film market, many of the producers or investors, they emphasize on the box office. But that box office doesn't mean the reward of the investor. So we can't see the actual picture of filmmaking as kind of business. And also because in a way the audience are spoiled by the film people. So by the especially those mega production. So maybe the audience, they want more before they feel tired about those like for example, like the CGI movies or sci-fi movies now produced by the US. And it's also kind of characteristics of the so-called post-modern era. The audience, they like to watch those spectacular pictures, spectacular shot, something like that. So films that aim at to convey or have so-called some meaning is not easy now. So and once when the production is becoming bigger and bigger, so one day it will be too big, and then low investor will be willing to invest on a movie. So maybe at that time there will be a big decline of the film industry, or maybe there will be kind of going back to we just make some movies that going back to the cinema during its early age. When we say that we want to make local films, it's not a kind of virtue for all time. Because sometimes when we say that some people, they say something yesterday and then they change another way of speaking today. But I won't see those people, they just beat down what they said yesterday, because we have to see what was the kind of saying, what the kind of statement when it is spoken out, what is the context. So under the context of globalization, and under the context of the control, no matter it's from China, with the economics as a means, then we have to say we want to make more local films because under this context. But when the world, when one day all the filmmakers all over the world, they only make the local films, then perhaps we will say that make something for the whole world. And then so we have to consider the context. So there's no statement that can be virtue for all time. I hope we can go back to something like the 1980s or even 70s, in the sense that we can make different kinds or different genres of movies freely, and then and I hope that the mainland government, they will one day recognize that film is not so negative in a political sense.
We can conclude on the fact that Hong Kong cinema is like its society, meaning in the midst of a complex mutation. Because although purely local Hong Kong cinema still exists and will probably always do, his symmetrical rapprochement with Chinese cinema and its growing dependence on mainland market change it into something else, something new, something in between. Will Hong Kong relive its past glory? Probably never, no. At least not in this globalized world, and not in these times where budgets needed for large audience commercial films are way above what the Hong Kong market can absorb. If we can't deny that things are improving every day in China, we can also unfortunately fear that artistic freedom will remain a very sensitive issue, and that for quite some time, judging by the current regime. Yet the only positive way we could hope for Hong Kong depends on a greater tolerance from Chinese censorship, which would then allow Hong Kong filmmakers to direct films again which would be both ambitious in terms of budgets and yet original and bold. In short, what Hong Kong cinema does the best.